Everybody wants to save D.C. In one way, it's the easiest. The violence was more than any other city in the country, actually, by far. It may have been more than any other city in the world. If you could think, we looked at some of the worst cities in the world, it was worse. And that's why it angers me to see the mayor saying about how they have it on the slide. Not on the slide, it was worse than ever. We have no problem getting that money. That money will come out of Congress. I think it'll be even bipartisan.
That is the plan.
I mean, I would imagine Democrats would vote for that one. When we're ready, we'll go in and we'll straighten out Chicago, just like we did D.C. Chicago is very dangerous, great place. I built great stuff there. I have the most beautiful building in Chicago, I think. But I hate to see what's happened to Chicago.
Ukraine's latest strike on a facility in Russia has suspended Russian oil supplies to Hungary and Slovakia. The Hungarian and Slovak governments said on Friday that the attack could leave them without Russian oil imports for at least 5 days and urged Europe's Executive Commission to guarantee the security of supplies. The Thursday attack marked the second time this week that Russian oil supplies to Hungary and Slovakia have been cut, after a halt on Monday and Tuesday. Russia and Ukraine have stepped up attacks on each other's energy infrastructure over the past few weeks. Tensions continue despite a push by U.S. President Donald Trump to reach a deal to end the conflict.
It's probably one of the most active and brutal phases of Ukraine and Russia attacking each other's infrastructure.
Dmitry Shtanikov is Reuters' energy and commodities editor.
And most commentators agree that it is Ukraine raising the stakes during the negotiation process. There's been too much talk about that Putin has already won the race through the mere fact that he met Trump. But Ukraine is essentially proving no, Putin hasn't won. We still can attack Russian infrastructure and cause significant damage.
Ukraine's military said late on Thursday it had again struck the Unesha oil pumping station, a critical part of Russia's Europe-bound Druzhba oil pipeline. Moscow has repeatedly targeted Ukraine's gas infrastructure, hitting preparations for winter heating for the population and fuel for key industries. It says the attacks are aimed at degrading Ukraine's military. Ukraine has also damaged several Russian refineries, aiming to disrupt Russian energy exports, financing Russia's invasion, and create fuel shortages in a number of Russian regions. The European Union reduced energy supplies from Russia after its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. It's seeking to phase out Russian oil and gas by the end of 2027. Slovakia and Hungary are opposed to the phase-out and said their economies depend on Russian supplies. They have also opposed to sanctions against Russia, which Ukraine says are vital to push Moscow towards a viable peace.
Be in no doubt that this is irrefutable testimony. It is a famine. The Gaza famine. It is a famine that we could have prevented if we had been allowed. Yet food stacks up at borders because of systematic obstruction by Israel. It is a famine in 2025, a 21st century famine, watched over by drones and the most advanced military technology in history. It is a famine openly promoted by some Israeli leaders as a weapon of war. It is a famine on all of our watch. Everyone owns this. The Gaza famine is the world's famine. It is a famine that asks, but what did you do? A famine that will and must haunt us all. This is a moment of collective shame, and I think we all feel that in different ways. We all have to look back as the international community and think, where could we have got this in a different place? And we've watched it happen in real time.
Governments and employers should take urgent action to help protect the health of workers who are increasingly exposed to extreme heat. That's according to the United Nations, which released a major update of a report on worker safety on Friday.
The workers keeping our societies running are paying the highest price.
Rüdiger Kresch, the WHO's interim director for environment, climate change, and health, said billions of people are exposed to dangerous temperatures at work due to worsening heat waves.
Protecting workers from heat is a matter of life and death. It is not just about temperature, it's about inequality. The poorest workers are on the front lines of the climate crisis.
Health risks include heat stroke, dehydration, kidney dysfunction, and neurological disorders. The WHO and the World Meteorological Association say manual workers in sectors like agriculture, construction, and fisheries, as well as vulnerable populations in developing countries, are particularly at risk. Some employers have already taken steps to help alleviate the effects of a sizzling summer. In Koga, Japan, a construction company is providing a daily free flow of shaved ice desserts and advising workers to take short breaks regularly. In Spain's Catalonia, farmers have shifted their schedules and are picking fruit in the early hours to avoid the hottest parts of the day. And one nurse scientist in Atlanta, Georgia, has created a biopatch that monitors outdoor workers' vital signs like skin temperature, heart rate, and respiratory rate. Worker productivity drops by 2 to 3% for every degree above 68 degrees Fahrenheit, with half of the world's population already suffering from adverse consequences of heat, the UN's report said.
From a new lifeline for Intel to why one toy is worth billions, this is the week in numbers. $2 billion is the money put into Intel by Japanese tech investor SoftBank as part of moves to help revive the ailing chip maker. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says Washington might also take a 10% stake in the firm.
And it's a creative idea that has never been done before to ensure that we're both reshoring these critical supply chains while also gaining something of it for the American taxpayer.
Tech shares broadly fell later in the week on reports that Washington might want a stake in other chip makers too. Over $4 billion could be the value of ugly cute toys, or at least that's the possible annual sales at Labubu maker PopMart. The Chinese firm says it's on track to hit an existing lower target and could exceed the higher number quite easily amid a global craze for the furry collectibles. Over 6% was the plunge for shares in Target on Wednesday. Investors panned the retailer's choice of a veteran insider as its new chief executive. They say Michael Fidelki is not the man to solve the many issues that have caused Target stock to underperform for years. Over $10 billion is how much Meta will pay Google for cloud computing capacity over 6 years. That's according to a Reuters source. The news comes after boss Mark Zuckerberg said in July that the Facebook firm would spend hundreds of billions of dollars to build massive AI data centers of its own. And over 30% was the surge in sales for Xiaomi over the latest quarter. The Chinese company has risen to third place in the global smartphone market, behind only Apple and Samsung. It's also becoming a big player in electric vehicles, though that business remains loss-making so far.
It's crazy, insane. All the people is coming for Cristiano. Cristiano is a big name, so no wondering when you see all those people.
I feel great today. I love Ronaldo because since when I was 3, I started watching football, and then my first idol was Ronaldo. I went to Spain, Italy, and Saudi Arabia to watch Ronaldo, and also England because he's my number one. being a Ronaldo fan a few years ago. I love his style of playing, and he's very self-disciplined, and he can play well all the time.
Humbled and overwhelmed. I am all too aware of the hundreds of talented artists that have preceded me and their contribution to the world of cinema. Roughly 200 celebrities have had their hands and their feet and their signatures imprinted in the concrete forecourt of this beautiful picture palace.
I was teary-eyed. And I can't believe it's me. Like, I kind of go, oh yeah, I'm still here. Is this me? It really is. Today's been a very, very special day in my career. I don't know where they're going to put me.
I bet you in 10 years' time we'll all be taking it for granted that the cars coming out have, weird little foils and things that, you're wondering how they came up with that. Well, here you go. This is how they came up with it. It was tested by these teams on this trip, on this track at this time. It's important to improve the cars we've got because for about 100 years we really haven't upgraded them. They've been blowing up petrol and turning pistons and this kind of crazy old school infernal combustion engine, which we also have learnt more lately in the late 20th century is causing global warming. We've got to get off and just do better.